Years ago, in the town of Willow Creek, where the willow trees wept secrets into the river and the old Victorian houses whispered tales of the past, lived a young woman named Serafina. She wasn't your typical resident. Oh no, Serafina was different. Her beauty was otherworldly. Her eyes were pools of liquid emerald, her hair a waterfall of raven black, cascading down her back, and her skin as pale as moonlight. But it was her voice that truly set her apart. A voice like honeyed silk that could charm the birds from the trees and lure unsuspecting hearts into its embrace. She owned a small bookshop, tucked away on a cobblestone street, its windows dusty with age and filled with leather-bound volumes whose pages held forgotten lore and dangerous spells. Despite the quaintness of the facade, there was an undeniable air of mystery surrounding the shop, an aura that both intrigued and unsettled those who dared to enter. It was rumored that Serafina wasn't just a bookseller, but a practitioner of the arcane arts, a witch who spoke with spirits and commanded the very forces of nature. And though these whispers painted her as a figure of fear and fascination, the truth of Seraphim's nature remained shrouded in secrecy. Now, one blustery autumn evening, as the wind howled like a banshee and rain lashed against the window panes, a stranger walked into her shop. His name was Cassian, a handsome young man with eyes the color of the stormy sky outside and a heart full of yearning. He wasn't from around here, he explained to Serafina, his voice echoing in the cavernous space. He was a writer, he said, searching for inspiration, for a story that would set his soul aflame and make his name. And then he saw her Serafina with her unearthly beauty and her aura of enigmatic power, and he knew he had found what he was looking for, not realizing that he was about to stumble into a tale far more profound, far more perilous than he could have ever imagined. He became a regular at the bookshop, spending hours talking to Serafina, drinking in her wisdom and her allure. They talked about everything and nothing, about life and love and the mysteries of the universe. And slowly, oh, so slowly, Cassian's feelings for Serafina began to grow, blossoming into a love so intense it consumed his every thought. He was captivated by her intelligence, her kindness, her otherworldliness, and he couldn't understand why someone so ethereal, so divine would even give him, a mere mortal, a second glance. And she played along, Serafina did, feeding off his adoration, enjoying the attention, the warmth of feeling desired. But it was all just a game to her, a dangerous game. See, Serafina wasn't just any witch, she was a succubus, a creature of immense power and unfathomable darkness. And her love for Cassian was nothing but a prelude to her ultimate goal, to seduce him, to entangle him in her web of desire, and ultimately to devour his very soul. You see, when the moon hung heavy in the night sky, casting long, eerie shadows across the town, and when the wind carried whispers of forgotten magic, Seraphine's true form would emerge. She would shed her skin, her human guise, and become something terrifying, something beautiful and deadly all at once. She would become a nightmare made flesh, a demon of immense power and bottomless hunger. But for now, under the soft glow of the shop's gaslights, surrounded by the scent of old books and brewing magic, she basked in the glow of Cassian's devotion, relishing the feeling of being alive, of having a purpose beyond the solitary confinement of her bookshop. And so their love story unfolded, or rather, Cassian's devotion to Serafina continued, while she reveled in the attention, leading him on, toying with his emotions and drawing him deeper into her intoxicating embrace. All the while, the townspeople whispered, sensing the darkness that lurked beneath Seraphine's enchanting exterior. But their warnings went unheard, their fears dismissed as superstition and ignorance. After all, how could a creature of pure evil hide in plain sight, masquerading as an alluring bookstore owner? It seemed preposterous, yet undeniably true. Months passed, seasons turned, and Cassian's love for Serafina only grew, as did the darkness that swirled around them. And then, as if fate itself had orchestrated the moment, Serafina announced. She was leaving Willow Creek, going on a journey that would take her far away from the town, and Cassian, who loved her with every fiber of his being, couldn't bear the thought of being apart from her. So he did the only thing he could think of. He asked her to marry him, and Serafina, ever the manipulator, ever the puppet master, played along, agreeing to the engagement, knowing full well it would only lead to damnation. The wedding was a spectacle, a whirlwind of lace and lilies, promises whispered and vows exchanged. And in the eyes of the townspeople, it seemed like a fairy tale come to life, a testament to the enduring power of love. But behind the veil of that facade, an ancient pact was being forged, a bond that would intertwine their destinies and seal their fates. For when the last guest had departed and the echoes of celebration had faded into memory, Serafina revealed her true colors, her demonic form, her insatiable hunger. And Cassian, my poor, misguided, was left to face the horrifying truth of his love. The creature he had married was not a witch, not a succubus, but a demon, a queen of hell, Lilith herself. As I said before, a crazy bitch. "You lied to me," he whispered, his voice trembling with a mixture of fear and betrayal. "Who are you?" And Lilith, for that's who the witch truly was, turned to him, her eyes blazing with infernal fire. "I am your curse," she hissed, her voice a symphony of malice and might, "and now your bloodline shall suffer for eternity." With that, she vanished, leaving Cassian alone in the cold, desolate church, the weight of her chilling prophecy echoing in his ears. Now, don't misunderstand, I'm not some superstitious fool who believes in witches and curses. No, I'm a firm believer in science, in logic, in the power of the human mind. But sometimes, just sometimes, the veil between the mundane and the magical, the rationale and the irrational, it wears thin, and we catch a glimpse of something beyond our understanding. Something primal, something terrifying. And let's be honest, who hasn't felt the icy fingers of fear creeping up their spine on a dark, stormy night? It screams like a banshee and the shadows dance ominously in the flickering candlelight. Who has looked up at the swirling chaos of a vortex and wondered about the unseen forces that govern our world? And so it was on that fateful night, years after the wedding, that Cassian's world was shattered. He had married a demon, a creature of unimaginable power and malevolence, and now his bloodline was cursed to suffer for eternity. What would become of him, of his family, of his descendants? Would they forever be haunted by the specter of Lilith, the seductive witch who had cursed them all? Or would they find a way to break the curse, to escape the clutches of her dark legacy? Only time would tell.